This video talks about ways that you can revise your final portfolio essays to make sure that they have style. As you know, we've streamlined our grading characteristics for Writing 150, and we focused on two elements of the style category. First, we want to see sentences that are clear, logical, and easily understood by college-level readers. Second, we'd like to see word choice that is consistent and appropriate to the writer's purpose. So what exactly does that mean? The first element really focuses on making sure that your sentences make sense. Are they clear? Are they logical? Are they easily understood? As readers, we don't want to get stuck in your sentences or get lost. And so as a writer, your job is to make sure that your sentences are clear and logical to help us move through your essay. So as you work on your sentences, some questions to ask yourself. Have you read your essay aloud to make sure that it makes sense? Have you asked somebody else, a writing consultant or a classmate, to review your essay to make sure that it makes sense? Sometimes we can't see the errors in our own writing. It makes sense in our head. So asking somebody else to read it can be really helpful. Have you avoided using passive voice and written your sentences in active voice instead? For those of you who have had issues with passive voice, I've marked those in your drafts, so make sure that you're attending to those sentences as you revise. The second element is focused on consistent and appropriate word choice. And what we mean by that is to make sure that the words that you're using both make sense to the reader, but they also fit the purpose of what you're writing about in your essay. So ask yourself, does your word choice fit your writing purpose? If you're writing an informal essay or something like the literacy narrative or even your experiment that focuses on more of your personal experience, your language might be more informal. But with an argument, a problem solution, or discussing an issue in society, it might need to be more formal. And so you use words that are more formal or less familiar in those kinds of essays. Have you edited your essay to cut out unnecessary words or phrases? Often there can be sentences where you've got a lot of extra words that you just don't need, so you can cut those out if you read through it carefully. Do you use the word you to address the audience? If so, we suggest that you consider changing that to we or I. Do you use preview language in your intro or body paragraphs? Preview language is sort of the language that says in what's coming up next. We don't necessarily need it. You can just tell us what you want to say. So for example, if you have a sentence like, in this paper I will discuss, or later in this essay I'll explain. If you see phrases like that in your essay, you could rewrite them to clarify it, or else you could cut it completely. Most often, you just don't need those sentences. And instead, you can just state it clearly. We haven't done a lot of in-class lessons on style, so my biggest suggestion for you is to review my comments on your drafts. Because style is idiosyncratic and sort of unique to each person, my instruction in this area has really been focused on your own individual drafts. So if I've given you comments on unclear sentences, passive voice, or other wordiness in your drafts, that's what I'm talking about. I'm really asking you to think about style. If you have questions, jump into a video conference or send me an email. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.